The deep silence of space shattered like glass, splintering into chaos. A deafening explosion echoed through the void as the royal vessel of the Carapace Empire, a sleek, silver craft adorned with mesmerizing patterns of blue and gold, spiraled out of control. Fire streaked across its hull as it hurtled toward an uncharted, primitive planet. Inside the doomed vessel, Queen Rhea gripped the armrest, her usually composed expression twisted with fear. The sudden ambush by the ruthless forces of the Cruel had left them vulnerable, their defenses shattered. Now, they were on a collision course with an unknown world, and there was no escape. The planet loomed large in the viewport, its swirling mix of green and blue an ominous reminder of their impending fate. Alarms blared, and red lights painted the control room in a sinister glow. The crew scrambled, desperately trying to stabilize the descent, but the ship continued to plummet, its fate sealed. Rhea's heart pounded as thoughts of her family surged through her mind, her beloved mate, King Theos, and their 2 young children, waiting for her safe return. She closed her eyes, whispering a silent prayer to the ancient spirits of her people. The ship tore through the atmosphere, trailing fire and smoke like a fallen star. With a thunderous impact, it crashed into a dense, green forest, the force splintering trees and carving a scar into the earth. Metal twisted and groaned as debris scattered across the landscape. Silence returned, but only for a moment. Bruised but alive, Queen Rhea emerged from the wreckage, her advanced bioluminescent armor flickering as it attempted to self-repair. The eerie, glowing light cast long shadows over the shattered remains of her once magnificent vessel. Gritting her teeth against the pain, she surveyed the crash site. The twisted metal and sparking wires were a cruel mockery of the grandeur they once embodied. She knew time was not on her side. The Cruel would soon follow, and in this strange world, she was vulnerable and alone. Miles away, Caden, a hunter-gatherer from a small forest tribe, stood in awe. He had witnessed the fiery streak in the sky, a spectacle unlike anything he had ever seen. Tall and muscular, with skin tanned from years under the harsh sun, Caden moved swiftly and silently through the forest, his sharp eyes never missing a detail. Fear and curiosity battled within him, but his instincts pushed him forward. When he reached the crash site, his breath caught in his throat. Before him lay the massive, alien structure, its metallic hull shattered and alien lights flickering. Among the wreckage stood a figure unlike any he had encountered, tall, slender, and glowing with an otherworldly light. Caden's heart raced, but something about the stranger compelled him to step closer. Queen Rhea turned, her wary gaze locking onto the human who had dared to approach. Her royal training had taught her to assess potential threats, yet something in this human's eyes, an undeniable spark of concern and curiosity, made her pause. Her armor's glow dimmed slightly, signaling no immediate threat. Caden, though frightened, raised his hands in a gesture of peace. The forest, dense and unwelcoming, pressed in around them as 2 beings from vastly different worlds stood facing one another. It was the beginning of an extraordinary journey, a collision of fates that would change them both forever. Caden listened intently as the villagers recounted their tales, their eyes wide with wonder. He observed Queen Rhea with admiration as she demonstrated her remarkable technology, healing an injured hunter with a sleek medical device and crafting a protective barrier around the village. The tribe's initial wariness transformed into awe, and they began to accept her as one of their own. United by a common purpose, Caden and Rhea continued their quest for a way to communicate with the Sarafa Empire. They scoured the dense forest for materials to enhance Rhea's communication device, often venturing into perilous territory. Their determination never wavered, and with each passing day, their bond deepened. One night, as they sat by a crackling fire, Rhea turned to Caden, her eyes reflecting a mix of gratitude and sorrow. She understood that their time together was fleeting, and the thought of leaving him behind weighed heavily on her heart. Sensing her turmoil, Caden took her hand and squeezed it gently, offering silent support. They sat together in the flickering glow of the flames, unspoken words hanging in the air like the stars above. This journey had irrevocably changed them both. Rhea had come to appreciate the simplicity and beauty of Caden's world, while he had gained a glimpse into the vastness of the universe beyond his own. They had forged a bond that transcended their differences, one born from the crucible of survival and mutual respect. As the stars twinkled overhead, Rhea made a silent promise. She would find a way to return to her people, but she would never forget the brave and kind human who had saved her life and opened her eyes to the wonders of his world. Caden, too, cherished every moment, knowing he had formed a friendship among the stars. But unknown to them, the cruel forces continued their relentless search for the downed Sarafa vessel. A scout ship, detecting the remnants of Rhea's distress signal, descended upon the planet. As Caden and Rhea ventured out on a hunt, the sky darkened ominously with the arrival of the cruel ship. The forest trembled as it landed, the menacing forms of cruel soldiers stark against the vibrant greenery. Rhea's eyes widened in recognition and fear. The cruel were merciless, and if they captured her, her fate would be sealed. Caden, sensing the imminent danger, grasped Rhea's hand and pulled her into the thick underbrush. They moved swiftly, Caden's knowledge of the terrain granting them a fleeting advantage. Though the cruel were relentless, Caden's instincts and Rhea's quick thinking kept them one step ahead. He led her to a hidden cave he had discovered in his childhood. Its entrance was concealed by thick vines and underbrush, providing a cool sanctuary from their pursuers. Inside, Rhea activated her distress beacon, a small device that emitted a faint pulsing signal, a risky yet vital move that was their only hope for rescue. She adjusted the frequency, praying to reach any nearby Sarafa ships. 4 hours, they lay hidden in the cool darkness, the sounds of the cruel search parties echoing ominously outside. Exhausted and injured, Rhea leaned against the cold stone wall, her eyelids growing heavy. Caden stood guard, his senses on high alert, when suddenly a familiar hum filled the air, the unmistakable sound of a Sarafa ship. Bursting out of the cave, Caden caught sight of the sleek silver craft descending from the sky. The cruel soldiers, caught off guard, scattered as Sarafa soldiers emerged, weapons blazing. A fierce battle erupted, but the Sarafa forces were well prepared and quickly overwhelmed their enemies. Rhea's heart soared as she saw her mate, King Theos, leading the charge. Tears filled her eyes as she ran toward him. Theos, shocked but overjoyed, embraced her tightly, gratitude shining in his eyes. He turned to Caden, who stood a few paces away, watching the reunion with a mixture of relief and sadness. As the battle raged on, Rhea, recalling the layout of the cruel ship from her previous captivity, directed the Sarafa soldiers to key points, helping them disable the enemy's weapon systems. Caden, armed with a spear and guided by instinct, fought valiantly alongside the Sarafa, surprising even the seasoned soldiers with his bravery and skill. The tide of battle shifted in their favor, and the cruel were finally defeated. As the dust settled and the Sarafa secured the area, Rhea introduced Caden to Theos, explaining how this primitive human had saved her life. Theos, initially skeptical, recognized the sincerity in Rhea's eyes and the genuine humility in Caden's demeanor. He extended a hand to Caden, a gesture of profound respect. With their mission complete, the Sarafa ship prepared for departure, its engines humming with energy. Rhea and Theos stood by the ramp, ready to board, when Rhea turned to Caden, her eyes filled with gratitude and sorrow. She placed a small, glowing amulet in his hand, a token of her appreciation and a symbol of their unlikely friendship. "Thank you, Caden," she said softly, her voice heavy with emotion. "You have not only saved my life but also shown me the beauty of your world. I will never forget you." Caden held the amulet tightly, nodding. "And I will never forget you, Rhea. You have shown me that there is so much more beyond the stars." As the ship ascended, the wind from its engines whipped through Caden's hair. He watched until it vanished into the sky, a strange mix of pride, sadness, and wonder washing over him. His life would never be the same. Back on the Sarafa homeworld, news of Rhea's rescue spread like wildfire. The people rejoiced, and the tale of the primitive human who saved their queen became a legend. King Theos, relieved to have his queen back, often reflected on the bravery and resourcefulness of the human named Caden. On Earth, Caden returned to his tribe, the amulet around his neck glowing softly. He shared his extraordinary adventure with his people, becoming a revered figure among them. His encounter with Rhea had transformed him, broadening his perspective and filling him with hope and possibility. The forest, once a place of simple survival, now held memories of an epic journey and an unlikely friendship. Every night, as Caden looked up at the stars, he felt a profound connection to the cosmos, knowing that somewhere out there, Queen Rhea and King Theos remembered him too. Meanwhile, the Sarafa soldiers worked diligently, repairing the ship and securing the perimeter. The forest, once a tranquil refuge, now bore the scars of battle, a testament to the extraordinary events that had unfolded. At the edge of the clearing, Caden watched as Rhea and Theos conferred with their commanders. A wave of pride mixed with sadness washed over him, knowing that his time with Rhea was drawing to a close. As the Sarafa ship prepared for departure, Rhea and Theos walked toward Caden, their expressions a blend of gratitude and reverence. Theos extended his hand, a gesture of profound respect. Caden, your bravery and kindness have saved our queen. We are forever in your debt. Caden shook Theos's hand, feeling the firm grip that conveyed sincerity. It was an honor to help. I just did what anyone would do. Stepping closer, Rhea's eyes shimmered with emotion as she placed a small, glowing amulet in Caden's hand. This is a token of our gratitude. It symbolizes our bond and will always remind us of the courage and kindness of a human named Caden. Caden gazed at the amulet, its soft glow illuminating his face, and felt a deep connection to Rhea and her people, a bond that transcended their differences. Thank you, Rhea. I will cherish this always. As the ship's engines roared to life, the Sarafa soldiers boarded, securing their equipment. Rhea and Theos turned to Caden one last time, their expressions heavy with gratitude and sorrow. Farewell, Caden. May your days be filled with peace and joy, Rhea said, her voice echoing the weight of their shared experiences. Caden stood rooted to the spot as the ramp retracted and the ship began to lift off the ground. The wind from the engines whipped through his hair as he raised a hand in farewell. As the ship ascended into the sky, he felt a profound sense of loss mingled with a deep fulfillment. Back on the Sarafa homeworld, the return of Queen Rhea was met with jubilant celebration and relief. The people rejoiced, and the tale of the primitive human who saved their queen spread swiftly. Rhea and Theos often reminisced about Caden, their memories filled with admiration and gratitude. The amulet he wore became a cherished symbol of the bond between their worlds, a reminder that even in the vastness of the universe, kindness and bravery could unite the most unlikely beings. Resuming her duties as queen, Rhea infused her experiences on Earth with a renewed sense of purpose and compassion. Inspired by Caden's simple wisdom and resilience, she introduced new initiatives aimed at fostering peace and understanding among her people. Theos, too, was transformed by their encounter. His perspective had broadened, enriched by the bravery and resourcefulness of Caden. On Earth, Caden returned to his tribe, the amulet around his neck glowing softly. He shared his extraordinary adventure, becoming a revered figure among them. His experience with Rhea had changed him, filling him with hope and possibilities he had never considered before. Years passed, yet the memory of Rhea and her people remained vivid in Caden's mind. He often looked up at the stars, wondering about his friends in the Sarafa Empire, knowing that somewhere out there, they remembered him too. The amulet served as a constant reminder of their bond, a beacon of hope and a symbol of the extraordinary journey they had shared. One night, as Caden sat by the fire, he noticed a faint light in the sky. It grew brighter, and he realized it was a Sarafa ship descending towards the forest. His heart raced with excitement and anticipation. When the ship landed gently and the ramp lowered, he could hardly contain himself. "Caden!" Rhea called out, her voice filled with joy. "We have come to visit, to honor our bond and share our worlds." Caden's face broke into a wide smile as he rushed to greet them. The reunion was filled with laughter and stories, their bond stronger than ever. This visit marked the beginning of a new chapter, one where the Sarafa Empire and Caden's tribe would continue to learn from each other. Their friendship stood as a testament to the enduring power of kindness and courage. As the stars twinkled above, Caden knew that his life had been forever changed by his encounter with Rhea. He had discovered that even in the vastness of the universe, connections could be forged and friendships could bloom. Looking at the glowing amulet, he felt a profound sense of peace, knowing he was part of something much greater than himself. The journey had transformed not just Rhea and Caden, but their entire worlds, bringing them closer together and creating a legacy of unity and understanding that would endure for generations. The tale of the alien queen and the primitive human became a legend, a story passed down through the ages, inspiring countless others to look beyond their differences and find the common threads that bound them together.